welcome back to another reading vlog, and we are going to do how many books I can read in 1 week. I have high expectations, I'm not going to lie to you. To start off though, I remember in the last video I mentioned if I finished the saltwater course I would let you know. I did not finish it. I got to 54% and just called it a day. We are now going to move on to the pumpkin spice cafe or something by, is it Lorelai Gilmore or something like that? I know her name is something to do with, like, it reminds me of the Gilmore Girls. However, I don't know if that's the first in the series, so I'm going to look into it and see which one's the first one and read that. But I'm very aware you can't read them all in one go because there's a Christmas one. But there's also a summer one that just come out, so I'm going to look and see if they're kind of interconnected standalones or they're completely different, like, members and they don't have any relevance to one another. So I'm very excited. We're starting book 1. By the way, we are doing this Thursday to Thursday and we are in Thursday afternoon. I have made a cup of tea to go with reading. I must admit it's really, really milky. Am I slightly upset over that? Yeah. Does my sister make a better cup of tea than I do? Yeah, she does. Yeah. And she doesn't even like tea. She don't even like milk. By the way, I forgot to mention, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe is the first one. So I'm going to read that because that's the one I wanted to read originally. Look at the cover. The cover is so cute. The actual books of these are some of the cutest book covers I've ever seen in my life. I've opened my blind because now you can see me until I don't want to eat in the dark. Thoughts and feelings on the book so far. So I am 64% through. It's very, like, fast in the sense of it doesn't feel like a long book. I don't know if that's just because I genuinely enjoy it so it feels like it's going fast, or if it's just a short book. I'm not sure. I looked online and, like, this only has like a 3.7 star review. Like, a lot of people were like, it's so cringy, blah blah blah. I can see that. I think if you've watched Gilmore Girls, you will like this. I will explain the book more later, but so far I enjoy it. Unless they have some weird plot twist that I don't like, I'm gonna say I thoroughly enjoy this book. You are magnificent. I'm just gonna walk around while I'm talking to you because I've just got out of the shower from working out and I'm making my food and my pasta's done and I need to, like, sort the mincemeat out. So I finished the pumpkin spice. I keep saying I finished the pumpkin spice latte. I finished the pumpkin spice cafe. It was good. However, I see the problem. Like, he does something that's quite out of pocket, and then, like, she just goes, it's okay, love you. Where I go, okay, I understand not wanting to drag out, like, a certain, like, conflict, but honestly, that actually needed to be dragged out a little bit because he was out of pocket. And like I said before, I think you'll mainly enjoy this if you've watched Gilmore Girls, because I just kind of envision the town as Gilmore Girls town. I can't remember, is it Stars Hollow? I just imagined that. So it was really easy for me. However, I have started a new book. So we are now on, I've gone back to Mafia. It's a sickness. We are on Painted Scars by Neva. So far, right, I'm only chapter 3, so I will let you know how I find it when I've read a little bit more tonight. Overall, pumpkin spice thingy, I would give it, honestly, the same as everyone else, like a 3.7-ish. And I would say I could easily go back and read that book again, come, like, October, I think. So I'll probably will do a reread on it. It has occurred to me that all I ever do in these is eat, go to my bed and read, but I genuinely do that and that's all I do. And in between that, I play The Sims 4. I fear I live my day in an endless cycle, and that is the best way I can describe it and the best way I spend my day because I love it. I realise I haven't told you what this is about. I don't overly know because I'm only chapter 3, but from what I basically know is the mafia leader got in an accident or something and now he can't walk, and although he's probably going to be able to walk with a cane, best case scenario, his right hand man was like, you need to marry because basically I think they're going to stage a coup and try to take you out because they think you're like not able to lead like the mafia. And the guy was like, dude, I've like tripled our revenue, like what are you on about? And he was like, you just know what people are like. So if you get married, people will think there'll be an heir and they don't have to worry about everything going to like crap, basically. So now he's gonna marry this woman for 6 months to like give the illusion, but we all know how that ends. So I can't wait to read this and knowing what's gonna happen. So I'm so excited. Roman's paying for her dress. Oh. So turns out my phone was also gagged and fell over. Good morning, sorry about the camera angle. I'm getting ready for work. I finished the Mafia book in that evening, okay? I absolutely whizzed through it. It was like a typical Mafia book. Like it was nothing to write home about. I'm not gonna sit here and go it was amazing. It wasn't, okay? It was very predictable. We all knew what was gonna happen. And a lot of the dialogue was like cut short, which I feel you can't please me because I either complain that the dialogue is too long or it's too short. So I'm not a pleasable woman. I am going to today start the next one because the next one is about one of his like guards, like right hand man. I don't know what you call them. Right hand man, not a guard. Who has to marry into a rival family to like keep peace from what happens in the first book. Which I think I'm gonna like a lot, so I'm not gonna do this on camera because it icks people out, so I will see you when I'm home. We have got the little doggy with us again. Like I said before, we have it every week, so we're going out on a walk before we start cleaning. Oh my god, I don't know why I just started that, like peeling off my eyeball. I'm so sorry. What I was gonna say is I don't know why I am like sick of my room, so I'm gonna just reorganize it because it is driving me up the wall. No, what I really wanted to do today, I wanted to read and play Panic. No, Disco Asylum. Sorry, do you know what? I could just refilm this clip, but I'm not going to. And I want to play Disco Asylum, but I think plans are changing, so let's go on a walk and we will start cleaning. When I say this dog, no care in the world today, she is smelling everything. Honestly, I love that for her. I love when she does this. Look, see? This is what we get. Update on the books, by the way. I am 70% through the second book. I think I like it more than the first book. I think I get that a lot with Mafia books. For some reason, the second one is just always just hits different. And the third one gets even better, but then it always falls off on the fourth. So, you know, we'll see. But there is like, I think there's 6 or 7 in this series, so I don't know if I want to take a break and then read something else and come back to it. I personally could read them all, but I feel like for this video that would be slightly boring if I just read only Mafia books. I don't know. Right, I haven't really filmed much, but I've cleaned this unit down here that was really messy, that was really annoying me, and this Spider-Man bit keeps just falling off and it's really annoying me. So I was gonna get rid of it all, but I think I just stepped on blue tack. But I really like it at the same time. So instead, I'm gonna just get this one down because this one is like my arch nemesis. Right, we're gonna take this down. I have to clean the wall, and I know that looks too weird, doesn't it? That looks really weird. I thought maybe we could have this here like that. And then that blank, but it's occurred to me now that looks absolutely ridiculous. So I'm kind of like looking over here and I think I'm gonna remove Mayday. I think she throws it off balance. I can explain it to you, or I keep Mayday and just remove all the bits up here because I think it just looks, if I do this, it just looks too much. You know, there's too much going on. But also if I remove Mayday, I could maybe pop Spider-Man up there. I don't know. I'm gonna toy with it now. So I decided on removing Mayday and putting Spider-Man mask here, which I think looks so much better. We then on this shelf just got rid of some of the pins that were sat behind because they were like making it look a little bit messy. We haven't touched this Pokemon bit yet because I genuinely just don't know what to do with it, so I've left it. And then beneath here I got rid of my books and just started kind of laying out my games, but that's a work in progress too. And then I have to figure out where to put some of my physical books. Luckily I keep most of mine on my Kindle, so storing them's not crazy, but yeah. So I did just finish Broken Whispers. Again, this was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it. The ending ruined it for me because, not to spoil anything, they start singing a song, and although it was meant to be like this really wholesome thing, to me I was like, oh my god, I would rather like pluck my toenails off than have this ever happen. So it did let down that just let down that bit of the book. Honestly, I would just not read that bit again, and this was a fantastic book. Now I remember saying I might not continue this series for this video and move on. However, that was a big fat lie, because throughout this book and the first book, a guy called Sergey is mentioned, and he's a little bit bit of a loose cannon who has some crazy lore, okay? And we are on his book, and I'm so curious about him and his backstory and what has happened to him to make him him. So I'm very intrigued. Also, with the first two books, I love that not everyone is very cookie cutter. So in the first book, the guy, he has a very bad leg, so he has to like use a wheelchair, crutches, etc to move around. In this one, the girl love interest can't speak, so I love that not everything is like ta-da! You know, I kind of love that, and seeing how she then communicates, because she can't speak, so not everyone obviously knows sign, so she obviously texts, but she uses a lot of hand gestures and facial expressions, and like kind of doing this on people's arms, or like when she can, to try and portray what she means. I loved seeing her communication. I thought it was so interesting, and then how he also communicated back to her. Loved it. Love. Okay, I need to do a bit of catching up with you. So I finished the third book, which was Hidden Truths, and that was with Sergey. I really liked this one. I thought it was really good, so I'm gonna say I enjoyed that. We then moved on to the fourth one in the series, called Ruined Secrets. Now, the main person in this that you would recognize the name is Luca. So Luca is the person who deals with Sergey in weapons, and he basically like sells weapons to Sergey. So through a thing of events, he basically gets told he's gonna like rule his bit of the mafia and has to marry the current mafia's ruler's granddaughter. They get together. The only problem is she is 19 and he's 35, and when I say it completely ruined the book, I skipped any like intimate bits in the book, skip, because it just feels so disgusting. I just skip it. The only reason I actually skim read this book was because if a character was mentioned in this book for the next book, I want to know who they were, because the first three, obviously they're mentioned throughout. However, like Luca's really mentioned once, twice. He's not that important, so you do not need to read this book at all. The only bit you need to know is a character's mentioned in this book that the next one's about, but honestly, she doesn't play a big enough role in this to warrant having to read this book, if that makes sense. So if you want to avoid this book, I definitely would, because one, again, she's 19 with a 35-year-old, so already it's just really weird because she's a teenager, and I find that really weird. And then he also knows that's really weird, but still like has a relationship with her, and then it's like, that's so weird though. So it's weird to see him have this like struggle and then still just not care. On top of that, the main woman in this is absolutely insufferable, and I cannot stand her, because the amount of times she says something along the lines of course I lost 10 pounds, my ass is just so big, I thought maybe you wouldn't want my ass to be that big. And I just thought, what the are you even on about? Like, actually shut up. And like later on in the book, for about 2 pages, she randomly just goes on about her weight out of nowhere, and then has like this whole thing about weight, which I just didn't like want to read, and I wasn't really prepared to read about. So I just did not enjoy the book at all. And then the next book is about Pasha, which is fine, but there's another guy in this called like xoxo that I would rather read about, and I looked and he doesn't have a book. What the one I want to read about doesn't have a book, which is fine, but I've looked past Pasha's and I don't after Pasha recognize any single name, not one. So I don't know, maybe if it just like kind of derails, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna stop reading this series. I fear the fourth one really did put a bad taste in my mouth. So I think I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop this vlog here, because although we actually are finishing a couple hours earlier, probably about like 6 hours earlier, I know I'm not gonna read for the rest of the day because I have to like clean the house, do gardening, etc. So I'm not gonna read. So I'm gonna end this one here. In total, we did 5 books. 5 books in a week, which I don't think is bad at all. I think that was pretty good, if I'm honest. If I had time today, I think I could have made it 6 or at least 5.5, but that's fine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.